you start seeing what looks like specks of white snow beginning to drift from the clouds ahead.
It's snowing.
I'm dreaming of a white whatever
So you
we
guys,
celebrate.
Festivus.
there was something I should probably tell you. In this area of land in Vasselheim, on this continent, somewhere, I'm not sure where, resides the fire Ashari. Somewhere in the town of Pyra.
What's that?
Well,
What are fire Ashari?
they're my sister tribe. They're a part of my sister tribe. So I come from the Air Ashari.
Right.
Yeah, from Zephyra. So, yes,
So
so
they-
they're a
they-
fire Ashari.
Oh.
So the point behind the Ashari, I'm not sure if I have expressed this to you all in the past few months. The point of our tribe is that we sought out the weakest points where the elemental planes start to bleed with our plane of existence. And these planes need to be protected, so our people have sought them all out in order to make haven there and be the protectors that we were all born to be. And as part of my Aramenté, I have to seek out each of the headmasters and prove myself a worthy leader.
Ooh.
Which makes me really nervous. But, you know.
We got your back.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll totally do it.
Yeah, we
So
can
I just thought,
burn shit for days.
maybe after, we handle, like, the horn, maybe we can, I might pop in, since we're
If you
here.
want to, Keyleth, when we go, we'll all follow your orders and make it seem like you're an extraordinary leader for us.
That could be good.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Good idea, yes.
Do they make you burn
course that would be
things
your
as a display
mage
of
card.
your abilities?
Well, they kind of teach me new things. They kind of instill me with their knowledge.
So the tornado thing, you could be like a fire tornado.
I could. I know. I'm so excited. But yes, super nervous because, social skills aren't my strongest suit.
You're
We've
a
noticed.
natural.
You're
You're
great.
Oh, you guys.
But it's very charming.
We gotta go there. There's fire everywhere.
Yes.
At
Yes.
this point,
And
the
is
conversation.
everything copacetic between the different tribes?
Ooh, good question.
What?
Are you guys
Don't be
friendly
sick.
with each other?
Is everything happy?
Well, yes, yeah, no, we're all happy. I mean, that's kind of the thing where once a generation someone sets out and goes on the Aramenté in order to come back a headmaster, and it's kind of like our, once a generation check-in, if
Yeah.
you will, to make sure everything's okay.
Exchange.
Unfortunately, the last person to go on the Aramenté didn't come back,
Well,
which happens sometimes. Yeah.
like, didn't come back ever?
No.
So like you could die.
Or maybe they got lost to the winds of the road.
Right, yeah.
It was actually my mother.
What?
To which tribe?
We don't know. She left when I was a little girl, so I don't remember much. So I don't know if she's alive or dead, really. But
We did not know that.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no bigs, right? What
I mean,
is your
it's,
mother?
I mean, well, it's fine. It's just, it's weird. I haven't seen her, so I don't know. I barely remember her.
Do you think there's a chance that when we visit this place, we might have to defend ourselves?
No. I wouldn't think so.
Which
Not like your
of
family,
course.
Grog. They're actually nice.
Yeah, we're cool.
Look, my family is nice too. We just share love with fists.
That sounds wrong
Understandable.
in so many ways.
It does, actually.
Would your mother have to go alone? Or does your tribe permit there to be help for you?
I'm assuming it would be okay. We're pretty welcoming.
That's good.
Yeah, we should totally
All right.
go there.
We will
And
go.
maybe ask them if they've seen your mum.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's like this part of me in the back of my head that I kind of always wonders if I'm gonna run into her.
How old? When was the last time you saw your mother, or do you even remember?
I was 5, 6, maybe years old when she left.
Wow.
So I'm the next in line.
This is heavy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's
bring
fine.
you
It's
down.
good to
I'm
know
just
that-
letting you know that we're gonna be in those neck of the woods, so I should probably,
Stop by.
go.
Tell us again. Sorry, explain it again.
So, essentially about, 900 years ago or so, roughly, 1,000 years ago, we were kind of a nomadic people, And then there was some sort of great sundering. We're actually still not 100% sure. A lot of information was lost. And the elemental planes kind of started bleeding with this plane. And, Vex is falling out.
Oh, hey, Stubby, wake up.
Anyway, long story short, we separated into 4 separate tribes to protect the places where the elemental planes bleed into this realm. So once every generation, someone is nominated to go out and make contact with the sister tribes in order to establish further communication, check in, learn about each other's cultures. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of each, we're from the same people, but we each have our own individual cultures because we've been separated for so long. The plane of air is... That's a good one, Grog.
No, not me.
That was Vex.
Not me.
That was a good one.
It's Nappy's time.
She's communing with the air
Come
elements
here,
right there.
come here,
Are you
Nappy's.
feeling okay?
Just give her an hour, she'll be
She
fine.
just needs some time. It's
Side
fine.
note, I'm 2 inches taller and I've always called you Stubby.
Oh.
Yeah. Give me Stubby.
But anyway, the last person to go on the Aramenté was my mother, and she never returned. So we haven't really had contact with the fire
I remember you saying
for a
that.
while.
So you're pretty anxious to go then, yeah?
I have no idea what they're going to be like. We haven't made contact with them in almost 2 generations. I don't know.
Oh.
Last time we made contact with them, it was fine and everyone was good, but who knows? It's been a while because my mother didn't come back. What I'm most nervous about is when I went to the Earth Tribe, they said that my mother had passed through.
So,
And went through her training and her Ulore trip, and she was fine, and then continued on.
maybe your mother's still here.
Another lightning clap.
Let's get a move on, I think.
Okay.
Keyleth, we're all here behind you. You've got this.
We'll pretend to be your small army. You are
Okay.
our leader.
And please, don't mention anything about us being called the shits when we first got started.
Vox Machina.
Vox
Vox
Machina
Machina,
is all it
okay?
is.
Good.
So, Keyleth of the Air Ashari, you know of our people. You trek up here with a group of strangers at your sides, welcome weapons at the ready. I ask you for the Aramenté. Whom do you call family? Whom gave you to this world?
My father, Corin, and my mother, Vilya. My mother was my predecessor. Wait, no, that's right? Yes, predecessor.
Yes, Your Highness.
She followed in my path. I'm following in her path.
The eyes have now moved away from the slot.
Damn it. God, I'm so bad at being eloquent.
A moment later, you hear a large impact sound, and a voice say, "Stand back!"
How?
We all back up.
For what?
You all back
where?
We all back up.
As you all back away, the front wall of stone that was put up before you that the eyes were looking through suddenly crumbles into a pile on its own. You are King of Vilya, are you?
I'm King of Vilya?
King Vilya.
Oh, King of Vilya. Yes, I am.
I am Serkonos, the Flame Speaker of Pyra, and guardian of this rift. Welcome to Pyra, my child. Now I must ask, why have you come?
I am here to complete my Aramenté. I have already been to the Earth Tribe.
Crosses his arms for a moment.
My mother, Vilya, never returned to Zephyra.
For you to be here on the Aramenté, it is proof that she did not complete hers, or at least is no longer with us. I am sorry. She was strong of heart.
So she came through here.
She did. She completed the trial, the challenges, and moved on to continue her Aramenté. but 10 or so years back.
Only 10 years ago. She's been gone for close to 20.
How long was she here?
Yes, how long was she here?
She stayed out but 3-4 days.
Okay.
And that's where her journey took her. I'd hoped wherever she was
I
safe.
check him
You may.
and see if he signed you.
22.
He seems stern, but honest. His words genuinely come from a place of worry and a tinge of regret at the knowledge that he's just received. Your mother was strong of heart and was very fierce. She could stir the heart of the mountain themselves with a word. She was very well respected amongst us.
She was better than I am.
I hope not. In a moment, his face turns a little darker, and he says, Corin,
Yes.
I assume he as well?
He is. Stubborn as always.
Well, you come with compatriots. You trust them?
Yes. This is my traveling companions, Vox Machina.
There is a circular doorway still held aloft there, shifting slowly. The vortex you stepped out of still locked in place. A voice says,
Stay together. Follow the footsteps. When you find the stone spire, there you will find your trial.
Well, we follow footsteps. I can track footprints.
Okay, sure, yeah. They might mean, he might mean more metaphorically, I'm not sure. Could be either
Can't
or,
track
it's hard
those.
to tell.
How about a general?
Can I sit and take a minute to almost meditate and see if I can connect with my mother and see if I can find some sort of trace, like essence?
You sense there is a very, very faint comfort in this path, so you know it's been walked before. You're unable to glean anything beyond that, but you know you're on the right path. But your mother's been gone a long time. It's surprising you've even caught wind of this type of an essence lingering. Through your investigation and the connection with your mother and the kind of the directional sense, while there are no tracks, there are small pools of lava that kind of progress in a pattern, one that would even resemble footsteps of a giant or some sort of large creature.
Go.
Let's head that way.
Okay.
Let's follow this lava trail.
Hello again.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you remember us?
Right, I do. We've worked.
Vox Machina, we're sponsored by
Yes,
Gilmore.
I recall.
He put the brand on my armor that my mother gave me.
And you should be wearing it proudly, yes.
Now, you. What is your name?
Hi. Kai Tiake. I am Keyleth, daughter of Vilya and Corin of the Arashari, and I am here to complete my Aramenté. I am... Kai Tiake. I am honored to be in your presence.
I am Uvenda, heart of the tides here. I had my own Aramenté long ago. And I knew your mother, who came for her Aramenté as well.
You knew my mother.
She came here for her own Aramenté. And now you come to complete what she could not. So, you are welcome, Keyleth of the Zephyra.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That just means she visited the earth and the fire and the water Ashari. She completed her Aramenté.
She did not, child.
Well, everywhere I've been, she's been. Why not?
Come. We shall speak. There is much to discuss, and it is growing cold out here, and you could probably all use a warm, fire.
I turn to her guards and I go, do I wake her up? Does she not like me? I don't want to be rude, but I kind of need to talk to her, and I'm only here for a few more hours, and
One of them takes his like bladed trident and kind of like hits her just gently on the side with the butt of it. She goes, "Oh."
That's how you do it.
Yes, young Keyleth.
She leans forward with like, putting on the presentation, but you can hear just that slight undertone of frustration.
What can I do for you?
Yeah. I was just curious. I'm so sorry. First
Keep
off,
talking,
okay.
please. What do you want?
I was just. You mentioned that there were only remnants of my mother that came back. Was she defeated by the Kraken, or do you think this was from another means? Do you have any more information on her?
Child, there was little left of her and her allies. We found other pieces of her friends, but pieces. And her leg was all we found. We could not recover much else, but the seafloor is littered with the many corpses and pieces of the Kraken's various prey. It does not take much to ascertain the nature of her end.
And you're sure of this? This is what the Kraken does to people?
Does to anything that crosses its path and eats to survive.
I was just wondering if there's any other potential explanation, or...
I'm sure there is. There are many potential possibilities for anything that happens. I only have the information that I was able to glean from the various scouts and teams.
How long ago was this?
This was 4 or 5 years back.
Really? All right. So not that long, really. Did she stay long?
A few days. Prepared for their journey, much like you did. That was the last we saw of them.
All right. I was just curious. Thank you.
I wish I had different news for you.
Did you keep anything from what you found?
Her head turns curiously.
I fear I did not.
Okay.
We gave a quiet burial to what we were able to recover, but that's all.
I appreciate that much. Thank you for doing that.
Of course. And once again, I am sorry for your loss, Keyleth.
Part of the duty.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, I should be getting my rest.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, big day. Swimming, lots of calories. I'm gonna go now.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
bye.
you will. Goodbye.
Good night.
Well, this is fine news. I was worried that we had a loss, and perhaps this endeavor was incomplete. However, it appears that you've both survived the encounter with the current scourge to the Vesra's Rift. And you've completed your Aramenté, young Keyleth. There will be a celebration tonight before we send you back to Zephyr, where you will be formally crowned by your father, Corin.
Oh, that's happening tonight. Oh, wow, this stuff moves fast, yeah.
We'll celebrate this evening.
Oh, and
you
then I
return
All right, oh, yeah.
at your leisure.
Oh, okay.
But,
And she kind of walks up to you, and she can see the tears, and she kind of reaches up with her, wrinkled, sun-wrecked, elderly gnome skin, and reaches up and kind of rubs the tears from your face and goes,
it's all right. You've done well. And I'm sorry.
For what?
For a lot of things. The Aramenté didn't used to be this dangerous. It's tradition, but our trial has changed. And while we grew confident in your confidence upon arrival, we should have been more attentive. And this might not have happened.
No. It was my negligence and proper planning that added to this.
Well, that may be the lesson learned as this trial. But I think we've learned a lesson as well. And perhaps we need to adjust our trial, given the dangers of our recent elemental guardian.
I think the landscape of the world has changed a lot recently. And I think the Aramenté should reflect that. So I would be honored to provide any insight to help.
Well, come back. Come back once you've returned to your people and become the voice of the Tempest. Then you may alter however you see fit. Anyway, glad you're awake.
He taps you on the head with the staff.
Unconscious.
How many people lose their lives on their Aramenté? How many people complete it?
Well, the Aramenté is generally not a lethal experience. The Kraken only arrived this recent generation, and honestly, the only two who's had to take it with the Kraken's presence were Keyleth and her mother.
What?
I've been hoping to run a perception check through pretty much this entire conversation just to make sure she's being completely honest about everything.
Inside check, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd like
make
an
an
inside check.
Come on, Snitch.
Yeah, 13.
13. Hard to read.
Okay.
She seems to be at the front.
What do you mean why? Why were we the only ones with the tools?
Well, before the Kraken came to the Rift, it was simply an excursion to gather the lodestones amongst errant elementals and other mild dangers within the plane.
Sure.
The Kraken had only been drawn to the Rift
Recently.
And unfortunately, Vilya was the first to take the trial, with it residing just beyond our door.
How many people did she have with her?
She went in with 5.
None returned.
None. 2 of which were our own.
I'm sorry.
That's the danger we face in these times. To exist amongst such ravaging elemental forces is a danger unto itself, but that is the call of the Ashari by nature, is it not?
Yes, it is.
To safeguard the rest of civilization from these terrors. Anyway, enough dourness. Got rather cold here, and I think we could use some warming heat of the sun. Some food, and perhaps some rest for you.
Hits you again in the forehead.
Other 2.
I'm alive.
Come. It's nearly time. And as all of you are led over, there are spaces at the very front of this ceremony, kind of in the semicircle around this tree, and there are platforms set up at the base of this tree now. amongst these hundreds of various dangling threads, these small pieces of paper that flitter on the outskirts of the gentle wind that pushes through. You guess they might contain wishes or passages or something, but if you see bits of script written on them amongst the various glinting pieces of glass and gems and stone that have been polished. It's small but beautiful. Eventually you're led to sit in the center of this front semicircle, and as everyone kind of gathers and takes their seat, you hear the occasional kid crying and people kind of muttering to themselves, and eventually everyone shushes as Corin, now wearing a very old, ceremonial, long, light blue and white robe, wearing what looks to be some sort of a somewhat tattered, like a scarf almost, that's wrapped around his neck and then drapes off of each of his arms. It's thick and it's long and it almost touches the ground around him. But you can tell from the way he holds it, and his arms kind of consistently rest at this crooked position, that it has some symbolism to this ceremony. As he steps up under the tree and turns around, everyone gets very quiet, and the wind seems to almost stop on the outside of this barrier. Like the rushing, perpetual gust of air seems to almost hold its breath for this. He clears his throat. And as he looks up to everyone, you swear this tree begins to just slowly produce cherry blossoms as his words continue. For long, we of the winds have awaited the procession of our tradition. With the passing of our elder voice, Dwala, it was my wife Vilya who was selected to take the Aramenté. Beautiful and full of determination, she accepted her path. And while she could not return to us, the destiny she set is now seen as one of preparation. Her journey was not in vain, for it was her love that produced our daughter. It was her guidance in joy that taught our child compassion. It was her discipline and understanding that forged young Keyleth's spark of intuition and unlocked her adept connection with nature and the winds. We mourn the loss of our Vilya, but take pride that she lives on in the eyes of our own returned, beloved woman of the winds. Here we bring together our collective voices to bless upon my daughter, the memory of Vilya, the champion of Gwasar, the mantle of our destiny. And as he puts his arms up from around you to each side, Keyleth, you watch as young alkalites begin to approach from each side, arms down, all seemingly carrying these various pieces of dark green leather-like material, and as they come together, they latch them into place and slowly build this mantle. Ring clear our voices to unite our breath and grant our strength to her guidance and wisdom, as Keyleth takes the rightful and earned responsibility of leading our people into this next generation. At this point, the assembled mantle is placed into Corin's arms, and you now see this beautiful neck and shoulder piece that rests past to the elbows, but limp and without body in his hands. As he holds it there and the rest of the acolytes step back and find their place seated, he kind of lifts his arms up a bit and begins to just sing a singular note. And everyone around you in Zephyra begins to join in this singular note. Do you choose to join in as well? As you do, the notes begin to separate and harmonize. Instinctually, it creates this symphony, this beautiful tangling of hundreds of voices from all across the spectrum, and what at first may seem to resemble a discordant hymn finds this perfect spread of every note you've ever heard musically merging as one. As he does this, instinctually, Keyleth, without even thinking, you rise and begin to walk towards him. Like the spirits of generations before you are lifting you by your shoulders and elbows and bring you up before your father. You find the breath leave your lungs. The inside of your mouth is dry and you're unable to understand what it is that's driving you, but before you know it, you're standing before your father, looking up into his eyes as all of these voices just swirl around you, this weird warmth. The nerves in your stomach still climb to the top and vibrate within your chest as your father places this mantle over your head and shoulders, and it comes to rest on you. Heavier than you expected, but it fits well. As he places this, the green fades to a golden brown and red and orange and yellow. And the green leaves almost drip back into a long, springing trail of a cloak behind you that seems to grow with each passing surge of these voices around her until it reaches the ground and curls behind. Eventually the cloak stops. The voices soften and come to silence as you look up once more into your father's face. Rise, my daughter, and become Keyleth, voice of the tempest. He steps back and bows his head, steps off the platform, and you stand and turn, and it's just you there at the base of the tree, looking about at all of Zephyr before you, quiet, silent, and your friends before you at the front of the crowd.
Didn't think I'd make it here. I couldn't have done any of this without not only the support of every person in Zephyr and every person of the Ashari tribe, members of Amon, Taldore, Marquette, even Wildmount. In my journeys, I've learned being a leader is a global effort, one that takes the wisdom of many. Most importantly, I couldn't have done any of this without Vox Machina. And the pieces of them that I've taken away and have desperately tried to emulate in each one of them over the years. Each one of them with qualities that I admire and strive to embrace. Grog with his strength and his unyielding loyalty. Vex with her self-confidence and utter fearlessness. Vax is one of the most compassionate people I think I've ever come across. And one of the most brave, even if it's maybe foolish. And Percival, with your intelligence And your sensibility is always there to be my balance. Scanlan, with his charisma and his wit. Pike.
As you glance just past the group, you can see just the faint flutter of golden light and energy, like wherever she is, a part of her is watching.
Pike. Her generosity and her authenticity, always true to herself. And even Terry. Terry and Darrington. Whose blind faith in Vox Machina and perseverance and trusted us, even though he probably shouldn't have.
You're incredible.
All of these things that I learned and couldn't be a leader without. And Vox Machina makes up me. Zephyra makes up me. The Ashari people. And all of Greater Exandria. I don't know if I'm the leader that you deserve or a good leader. But I'm willing to dedicate the rest of my life to doing whatever I can for all of us. As long as Vox Machina stands by my side.
At this point, you watch as the light that remains of the eventually soon-to-come setting sun glints across the cheek of Keyleth. The bit of damp tear that has rolled down her cheek just detaches from the edge of her chin and hits the bottom of the stone. Every cherry blossom in the tree releases.
What?
And drifts past her from behind before getting caught up in the wind just past her, causing this swirl of pinks and reds and whites behind her. Everyone around rises up, and they all begin to cheer and clap, all together. You look around and watch the rest of these blossoms kind of slowly drift. You look and see your friends around you, and you look around and see your mother out of the corner of your eye. Just the memory of her. You sense that if she could be here, she would have been. Your father steps up and takes your hands and just says, "I'm so proud of you. And there is much to be done, I know. But I'm proud of you." He takes your hand and holds it up once more. "To the voice of the Tempest and the future of our people." Everyone cheers once more together.
Tempesta!
Eventually retire to Zephyra. Go be the actual lead of my people. Continue to get in any type of phrase that these people invite me on, as it reminds me of the good old days and keeps with my promise to protect this realm anytime this realm needs protecting. And I find Carrick at some point. Seek out Carrick. Make sure he's okay. Reconnect with him. Have coffee, you know?
Yeah. He's a quick jaunt from Zephyra, thankfully. Western's not that far. It's one of the closer large cities outside of Stillben.
Perfect.
So
we're weekend buddies. We go to wine country. And then I work on the propagated sprig from the sun tree and continue to build it out.
hopefully on the ley lines of the planet. And I take the feather that Pike gave me from Vax, and I embed it into the trunk of the tree, as well as any other relics from the Raven Queen I can find. Care for ravens as much as I can.
There is an uptick of ravens in the space of Zephyr as well. Not many, but more than there would be, which is usually 0.
And from the branch of the Sundry, create my own raven tree of the Ashari. Take a long, 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 long time before I maybe date again. Maybe. But eventually, hopefully, after a long, 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 long time, sunset into the tree and kind of become a part of this realm.
That's ways off for you.
Ways off.
But you begin those preparations.
But that's the plan.
Well, you, Keyleth, who many only once saw the naive druid girl, your level of respect now is carried with that mantle that you hold. And the Council of Tal'Dorei occasionally calls upon your wisdom and guidance. The alliance between the civilized and the natured world of the land is irrevocably in Tal'Dorei bound to you at this point. Between you and the Earth Ashari that reside up in the Cliff Keep. Between occasional jaunts to Immun and Whitestone, you find renewed joy in the protection of the people there. One cold Carisar, the 13th, the 10th month of the year. The cool summer dusk day closes and you emerge from the quarters to find the harrow. The wind's just come and blow through your hair. You step out at the sound of children laughing as a dozen Ashari kids, elf, dwarf, orc, many bloods and creeds, rush past as they play. It's a familiar sound. It's a happy sound. You glance over at this village you're protecting, and the people that truly look up to you as their leader. Both, not just from a might source, but as a guide. And you look to them to teach you things every day as well. Looking past as the sun begins to set, you see Corin standing by the cherry blossom at the edge of the cliff near the amphitheater where you had your ceremony. Pinks and oranges and purples, the sunset take the sky. As you approach, he still looks out. He's older, not too much older, but older. As he notices you approach, he looks over. In all my years, not a day passes where awe does not strike me at the beauty of this world. He looks over towards the sunset. Don't ever lose the memory of every face whose strength helped you keep this light from fading. Every single face.
I don't think it's the faces that keep this light from fading. I think it is what it is. We're lucky to experience it. If you are lucky to think it's beautiful, you taught me that. I don't have to appreciate this. Especially not after what I've seen. But I do.
You need to.
Only because of what I've seen.
You see a bit of heartbreak in him, but he nods his head and reaches out and takes you in and holds you there on the cliffside, the winds just being kept at bay. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It's all I ever wanted. It's weird. Once you reach a life goal and then realize you have the rest of your life. I guess I just find new goals. Sometimes it's hard being a prodigy. Because then you just grow up to be a regular adult.
He pulls you in tighter. You'll always be my girl. My little Keyleth.
Thanks, Dad.
I love you.
I love you.
Anyway, I should get to seeing if dinner preparations are being made. Looks to be a cold night. He tugs your hand and walks back, and leaves you there on the cliffside looking out. As the sunlight slowly blinks away over the horizon, leaving you with the purples and blues, the night sky as the stars begin to glitter out. You hear a raven caw catch your ear as you glance up into the branches of the cherry blossom tree. There's just one raven.
Focus.
It flies down, lands on your shoulder. It's a bigger raven than any you've seen before. You've not seen this raven around?
A little scratch.
It leans a little bit. And every day that raven comes to visit,